So after a short break, I'm back to show you how I'm gonna fill up that area there. So let's bring back the mesh. We see here that we don't need to tuck in here that much, as we're following that area pretty well. What I'd like to do is take that and follow a little bit more the mesh. So I'll move this out. In the Y direction. And I'll add a few more CVs to this. Now this one needs to move out. Or what we could do, I kind of like this line, but if I want to stick to this scan here, we'll have to take care of that area. So what we need to do here is this line. We'll have to move in ever so slightly. There we go. And then for this area, I will detach a patch up to that point there and twist it in a little bit. That can be done easily by projecting a line in the side view onto the surface. That will be the line. Let's hide away the mesh. And then the easiest way would be to do actually a monorail off of that curved surface along that line, but we will have to turn on curved segments. So that along this line here, and what we do is make sure that curved segments is turned on, and we'll take this controller and we snap it to that point there, and then make sure that generation 1 is set to curvature. We can trim this back. We keep only that upper area. This we can rotate in a couple of degrees. Bring back the mesh. Then we can start rotating it even more till it looks more like the mesh and what that is doing there. So I would say 8 degrees. We'll do it we'll do just fine in that area. Perfect. Okay, well, that's that. I have that line parallel to that one. What we can do is take that last CV out a little bit. Let's just follow the scan in this case. Take this in. This last one out. And then we extend this line here. It crosses this one. This one goes to that point there. This one take in a little bit. This one more. So for the sake of resembling to that mesh model, I will take that as is. Okay. I will take also degree 1 line and give it that height that we've got on that plate there. And now I can run this as a monorail on this curve. Here we can give it a tiny bit of crown. Coming out. This one going in. This one going in as well. This one can move out in the Y direction. There we go. You can slide this one in this direction. This one slide this way. Does it? This one can slide that way a little bit. We'll make sure that this is shorter, this one is a bit bigger, this one is the biggest one. Then same again here. This should be the shortest one. So let's pull that way, a little bit out. There we go. The line work has to look as good as it can be. Now let's profile this line here along that one. That gives us that face there. And now let's delete this one. I like to work from the center line always. So I'll snap this here, go up, and then snap top of it onto that profile there. So we know we've got the section we have there. And what I'll do, I'll stretch this line to become that from there. So I keep my profile, just delete the second curve that I've done. Okay, now this will allow me let's take care of this. This will allow me to do the same thing, but using the natural edge of that surface there. So monorail that along that line there. I'll turn off the curve segments and the explicit control. And I will keep this pretty simple and basic. What I want to do is maybe add a bit of crown onto that line there. I don't want it to be flat. I want to give it a bit of movement in the section to make it nicer. And this in turn will help us when we will be doing the radii. And now, based on that line, let's generate here a straight line like that. And profile on that line there. Make that curve bigger. So I've scaled it. Now I'm going to run that edge along that one as a monorail. This is the main volume for the splitter. So look at the sections there. We are getting pretty close there. That's fine. These could get smaller. Since we're here, fine. Let's do it this way. Can make that line ever so slightly shorter. And I'll snap this line to that point, closing everything back up. Let's see how we're doing. Here, we could get closer. Here as well. What we need to do, now take these two curves, go the CV there, and snap them back to the center of that curve. All the volume will follow. So we're sitting well there, there. Here we are a bit off. We can tone it down a little bit here, a little bit here. And then we will have a blend in this area because it's not going to stay that sharp, so that's all good there. And we could shorten that side a little bit, the center. So I'm going to shorten it even more. And then snap that point back there. And now we're sitting even better on those sections there. Okay. So most of them are sitting well. Here we're a bit below it, so I will leave this as it is. Come out here a bit. There we go. I'm going to go in a bit. That's that. Now we will need to generate these surfaces here. One easy and quick way to do that would be to take that curve and move it down there, build a skin between them, and that's it. So I'll try to do exactly that. Let's get away with this. This is interesting here, the way it twists. So let's see this. Net commercial, that's the one we're looking for. So we have that, and it seems that that face is running through, so we will have a slight break in that area. Let's look at other pictures as well. You can see that line going all the way through. Okay, this is how we're going to build it. So I will be taking that line that we've got there, and I'll just copy it in there, skin between them, or we'll use that edge, that line, and one more there to generate actually a bi-rail there, and then we will be adjusting it so it gets that feeling that the surfaces have got there. So let's do that. Let's set that line, copy paste it, move it across there. Don't worry about the overbuild, because that's exactly what we want. Now, to make everything a lot faster and easier, I will still generate skin between these two. And to get that in quickly, I'll get some sections here. Perfect. Now what I'll do, I'll just non-proportional scale this line. There we go. We have our section sitting pretty well here. Now what we can do is just adjust this line a little bit. So I'll non-proportional scale it in the Y direction because I'd like to have a bigger surface there. Let's use the extend. That's good. Option there. Let's scale it back in X direction. All good. This last point, both working well. Since we're sitting pretty good on most of those sections, I'll leave that as is, and I'll take into account, I'll accept that deviation there from the scan because it's going to make the surface look better. Looks okay. The outline, the surface, and we know that this curve is aligned to this one curvature. So we can actually generate here a monorail, connect the curvature. We will be using only this side of it, so that's okay. Let's run some sections on this one, see how we're doing. So we can actually move this in a little bit. There we go. This could come out ever so slightly. This one as well. So we have that there. That's looking good. Now, the interesting part will be going from that surface to that line, and by the looks of it, I think I will be just blending curvature to position onto that line there, and that's it. So let's go ahead and try and do that. So from here, I'll bring in a line that looks, actually what I'll do, I'll do it even easier. Let's untrim this surface and then go with a blend. I'll align this edge line. This will be connecting, and I'll do curvature to position there. And I'll just take that curve there and duplicate it. Make sure that the shape of that blend is set on to 1. I'll duplicate that. These are very easy and quick ways to generate surfaces. See where you're roughly at, and then generate your nice curves and work from them. There we go. This control. Generation 1 will be set to curvature. And we know it's working. We can trim this back. Sorry about that. Now let's look at this section wise. Deviating a little bit. Let's look at this one here. So we could come somewhat closer to the sections on the mesh model, because we are a little bit off. So that line needs some adjustment. There we go. That brings us pretty close. It's even closer now. That's sitting pretty well there. Let's see what we have to close back up. Since we've moved some curves, others will follow. Let's hide away the mesh. As I was saying, things are not happy. It's a common problem that you get when you work a lot with freeform blends in these surfaces. This one jumped from where it should be, and it's aligning to a different surface there. And this is the reason why. So let's go back to that line there. This line needs to realign to that surface. See the result of this closing back up. Still not working. At least that's working, so we can rebuild this. Entering the surface again, this one. Sometimes this is the cost of working with these flexible surface structures to keep the history. Sometimes it's just not working. So like that on that line, so it hits the top there. I've overbuilt this. I'm going to normal project onto that surface, that line. And I'll just make sure that I reproject these lines to make sure I keep everything that I had in place before. So I've reprojected everything. I'm just trimming it back to keep just what I need. That's about it. These would go onto their proper layer. Now I need to see why this one is not working. So since I changed that line, that surface has to readjust. But I said we will do it a bit different. So let's take that curve there. I'll delete the surface in this one as well. And we will take that surface in this curve here and build that my rail again. So let's go back to this point here. Let's take this curve here and let's do the bi-rail. And now let's make a projection from that onto that one. We'll need to see where this curve lands onto that, so to that surface there. So with a stretch tool, I'm just project aligning that line to that endpoint of that curve. Projecting in the X direction. And now let's do this again. Since I'm aligning here, that's where it should happen actually. Let's bring these curves back. Let's see all this compared to the mesh. That curve needs to align to that endpoint there. This needs to come out. Okay. Now the mesh needs to go back and go away again. Let's bring these back up again. So let's introduce here one more surface. Basically, a transition from this one all the way there to that surface. And the default, this gets trimmed back. This one gets trimmed back. That will serve as that transition that we're missing. Let's project onto that curve, into that surface, this curve here. There we go. We'll take that curve that we have there as well. This one as well. And then I will turn on the CVs on this. Snap this roughly to that position. Well, it has to be exact. Roughly doesn't do it. And we will be using now that edge of that surface to build the surface we were missing here. And we're still not aligning properly. It means that the surface that we've got there, that these two curves, we have to bring them back together. We will need this, this curve, this one here. Let's extend this curve back to that line there. This curve, we just pop it onto that one, and we'll snap it to that one there. So this way we will have a natural edge here, and we can build that again. There we go. Let's bring back the mesh. Try to optimize this a little bit. And that means that we will aim to get that working nicer. So here we're okay. That curve could become a degree 5 curve. And we can push this in. This one also in. We can go even more in. So since we've got that happening, it means that in this area we actually need a surface coming off of that line, going steeply in, intersecting with another surface coming this way. We'll have a blend that way, and then the radius going this way. Because if not, the S here will be too strong, and I'm not so keen on something like that. Let's try this out of one surface first. This one goes in as well. This one can come out. Not something I'm very keen on. Let's see. Let's see the whole situation together. Now this surface. This will run to a certain degree. We can extend that curve, which in turn makes that surface bigger. We'll take these two, hide them with that one. This curve can be adjusted to push that point down. This one can come in a little bit, so we're resembling to that even more. Now that we're okay. And on the explicit control there, 5 by 5. What we can do also is get a curve in here, running an X, like this. this as well. Calculate division. And then try to get them in. So first of all, turn it in. Make it look like that. And now give it a degree 2. Let's see, we can go forward this one as well. And then this means that we can project in Z onto that surface, this line, and trim it back. And then intersect this line also with this surface here. And from these sections, we can also adjust that. So let's take that line. I was looking at the wrong line, so we need to take that line there and adjust it so we're matching the center section there. Okay. Let's hide away the mesh. Let's bring this back. Let's intersect this. We need a center line as well on it, so we'll take that. X projection on it. Now we can keep that area. That's it. Now this one, it's trimmed back to this point as well. It's looking pretty decent. Let's do just a normal radius on this one. Save first. Let's do this. The end should be extending. Let's increase the size there. Bring this back. Now let's bring back mesh. We can see we can go pretty generous there. Say 50. Looks more like it. What I will want to do is take this, take that, and now I will want to generate that contour there. So that means that for me, the easiest way to do it would be just untrim this surface once again, and then I'll go to the offset, let's say 7 mil. I'll keep that. 7 mil off of that. And 7 mil off that current surface. And then for the moment, I will also generate an offset of this. Actually, I will not generate an offset. I will take out there. I'll generate a new surface just to blank this off. do it from around here, going up to that point there. Extend it a little bit and profile this curve around this one. Then I'll hide away the mesh. And then trim all this back to keep just what I need. That's that there. Trim this blackout surface as well. We don't need. We can run now the surface this way based on the mesh. That will do. Let's make it a degree 2 so it's not a flat surface, and we pull the rear area down. This moves car forward. We've got a nice acceleration to the end of it. You can also see that this could be fine-tuned. In the means of, I could rotate this Y direction, make it come up. And now I'll just have to realign that point there. And everything will follow. So what I've done is try to come closer and closer to that line in the mesh. And here, what I want to do is just take that point there and bring it back onto this curving surface here. That I will undo. And let's see this again. This is failing to update. I might need to rebuild it. I was realigning the wrong curve, so that one I don't need. This one comes down to here, and this is why you need to make sure you're always working clean, because then everything will update nicely. There we go. Let's do this again. I think we had 50. This is not working at the moment. We'll have to look at how we build all that again. But in the meantime, the important bits are working. So let's look at that whole area there. So let's do here. Let's surface along that one. Project to that surface, that line. So we keep going with that. Intersect this with the base plate here. Okay. Let's look at all of this again. This is twisting out this way. What I'll do for that, I'll copy this curve here, place it onto the end of that line. And then I'll delete this surface and I'll skin these two lines. Okay, now it's a very odd section there. What I'll do is twist this out, so it's hitting these sections in a better manner. Now extend this to that line and move it actually out a little bit, so I can actually intersect that surface with this one here. These will also generate me that. fillet goes after. Always say before you do fillet, because sometimes you can have these moments where Alias would crash, so you don't lose your work. Having edge line turned on everywhere makes everything a lot more difficult for Alias to do the math on it. So use default, and then we'll put edge line on this edge here, and see where this takes us. But this doesn't want to work, so we'll have to do it a bit different. We'll work with a freeform blend. You see, this is accelerating up here. What I'll do, take that line, and I'll rotate it even more in my direction. And then realign these things. Now what I'll do, I'll take some lines and build this blend here. So one around here, going this way, one around here, going that way. Let's hide away the mesh and project an X onto these surfaces. This one goes away. And then I'll just do a freeform blend. Curvature there. And here I'm going to do connect ends with default. Connect ends will do. Pull this back a little bit. This one could become a bit rounder. Okay. Let's run this back. This one as well. We have that area. It's resembling a lot more to the mesh. Now what we see is we need to extend this back a little bit. So we start hitting that plate there even more. Like this. I know the position alignment isn't working, but we will have to fine tune that later on. We're working with this line here. My intention is to keep the patch layout as simple as possible in the first place, and then we'll see how we have to adjust these areas. Now, this are in a good place, so I can project into that the edge there. I can build this lip. I know I'm deviating from the sections, but I'll keep it simple for the moment. Later on I will see how I adjust that. This line could go up a little bit, and this one could go up as well. I'll build the graphs there. So profile this along this curve. I don't like the way this works, so let's do a parallel movement on this one. There we go. And then I can take that curve and move it onto that line there. Rotate it in X, something like that. And I'll do the monorail around there. I'm on the wrong side, so that moves over there. The monorail I was talking about. Some projection lines. Now projected normal to the surface. So this one, that, this one, that way. We'll do a blend between the two. Now project that edge there. From these back. Bring that line. Trim this one in the center of it. This gives us these surfaces. Then here, we'll go this way. in. Let's see what the mesh does. Here it sits lower. So all we can do is actually untrim this. And then do the same thing, tubular offset on blend. So wrong offset there. So this could come even lower. 8 mil. Take that. Put it down there. Change the inclination. So you need normally X in X, and a couple of degrees on it. And then let's profile this along that line there. Turn on explicit control. Length, let's do 5 because that surface has 5. Okay. Let's take this. Move it along there. Project onto that surface, the center line. Trim this back. Trim this one as well. Back. All its necessary regions. Let's take this. And these 3 surfaces that we've just generated. The intake area down there. Let's intersect that around there. We can keep this bit, keep these bits, this one. We can intersect this one with the side one here. There we go. That's the pocket down there. Let's hide away the mesh, the lines. Let's put this on here. This needs trimming back to the center. Outline there. Surface there. So I'll be looking at that there. I got on to work as well. Trim this back. So that's that. Let's hide away everything that we've got on the work layer. These go back. These go onto the work layer. These back again. Now these will get intersected with these surfaces here at the bottom. Let's trim everything back. That goes that way. Go back. That goes. That needs to be intersected also with this surface here. So I've also filled this up here, trim this back. So that's it for the main volume of the front. More fine tuning will follow, but that's how I get this in. We will do the grill when we start detailing everything, when we close everything up, after we've adjusted all that. But that's it for the main front area. And let's pick these surfaces. Color them in correctly. These ones here. We'll do it like this. These ones go also blue. So there we have a rough base volume for this car. And we will do in the next episodes, we will start closing this hood up so we can close that gap up, and then work in other details like the grille, the headlights. Then we will be jumping on to the body side, carving in here the side feature of the 177. After that, we will be aligning these surfaces here so we don't have that break there. We will be closing up that cap there, finishing up the details on this. Another important bit will be this transition here, blending that step by step, finishing this up to make it look like the real deal. And once we have that, I was thinking we could do a nice little tuning project on it, so make it like a track car look, widen it, work on some of these things to make it extreme or not. Let's see what gives. And if you have a suggestion of what you would like to see on this little project, just drop it in the comments and we will look into it, see what looks most promising, most interesting from what you guys suggest. That's what we will do. So thank you for tuning in and stay tuned for the rest of the stuff coming up.